Hey guys. Today I am going to show you Iran military informations with military power. I think you like this video. Please like this video, comment your mind and subscribe our channel for more videos. Let's start video. Service branches. Leadership. Manpower. Expenditures. By the late Qajuri dynasty, Persia formed the world's first unified military consisting of the ground, naval, and air forces. After the coup in 1953, Iran began purchasing some weapons from Israel, the United States and other countries of the Western Bloc. Later, Iran began establishing its own armaments industry. Its efforts in this remained largely unrecognized internationally, until recently. Following the Iranian Revolution in 1979, deteriorating relations with the U.S. resulted in international sanctions led by the U.S., including an arms embargo being imposed on Iran. Revolutionary Iran was taken by surprise by the Iraqi invasion that began the Iran-Iraq War of 1980 to 1988. During this conflict, there were several conflicts against the United States. From 1987, the United States Central Command sought to stop Iranian mine-laying vessels from blocking the international sea lanes through the Persian Gulf in Operation Prime Chance. The operation lasted until 1989. On April 18, 1988, the U.S. retaliated for the Iranian mining of the USS Samuel B. Roberts in Operation Praying Mantis. Simultaneously, the Iranian armed forces had to learn to maintain and keep operational their large stocks of U.S.-built equipment and weaponry without outside help, due to the American-led sanctions. However, Iran was able to obtain limited amounts of American-made armaments, when it was able to buy American spare parts and weaponry for its armed forces, during the Iran-Contra affair. At first, deliveries came via Israel and later, from the U.S. The Iranian government established a 5-year rearmament program in 1989 to replace worn-out weaponry from the Iran-Iraq War. Iran spent $10 billion between 1989 and 1992 on arms. Iran ordered weapons designed to prevent other states' naval vessels from accessing the sea, including Marines and long-range Soviet planes capable of attacking aircraft carriers. A former military-associated police force, the Iranian Gendarmerie, was merged with the National Police, Sharbani, and Islamic Revolution Committees in 1990. In 1991, the Iranian armed forces received a number of Iraqi military aircraft being evacuated from the Persian Gulf War of that year, most of which were incorporated into the Islamic Republic of Iran Air Force. From 2003, there have been repeated U.S. and British allegations that Iranian forces have been covertly involved in the Iraq War. In 2004, Iranian armed forces took Royal Navy personnel prisoner, on the Shatt al-Arab, Arvan Rud in Persian River, between Iran and Iraq. They were released 3 days later following diplomatic discussions between the UK and Iran. In 2007, Iranian Revolutionary Guard forces also took prisoner Royal Navy personnel when a boarding party from HMS Cornwall was seized in the waters between Iran and Iraq, in the Persian Gulf. They were released 13 days later. According to Juan Cole, Iran has never launched an aggressive war in modern history, and its leadership adheres to a doctrine of no first strike. The country's military budget is the lowest per capita in the Persian Gulf region besides the UAE. Since 1979, there have been no foreign military bases present in Iran. According to Article 146 of the Iranian Constitution, the establishment of any foreign military base in the country is forbidden, even for peaceful purposes. On December 4, 2011, an American RQ-170 Sentinel unmanned aerial vehicle, UAV, was captured by Iranian forces near the city of Kashmir in northeastern Iran. In 2012, it was announced that Iran's Quds Force is operating inside Syria, providing the government of Bashar al-Assad with intelligence and direction against rebel opposition. There is an emphasis on the monitoring of protesters' use of the Internet and mobile phone networks, including text messaging. In December 2012, Iran stated it had captured an American Scan Eagle UAV that violated its airspace over the Persian Gulf. Iran later stated it had also captured 2 other Scan Eagles. In November 2015, Iranian special forces assisted in the rescue of a Russian pilot that was shot down by Turkey, over Syria. In April 2016, Iran sent advisors from the 65th Airborne Special Forces Brigade to Syria in support of the government. In 2016, Revolutionary Guard forces captured U.S. Navy personnel when their boats entered Iranian territorial waters off the coast of Farsi Island in the Persian Gulf. They were released the next day following diplomatic discussions between the U.S. and Iran. Under the last Shah of Iran, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, Iran's military industry was limited to assembly of foreign weapons. In the assembly lines that were put up by American firms, such as Bell, Litton, and Northrop, Iranian workers put together a variety of helicopters, aircraft, guided missiles, electronic components and tanks. In 1973 the Iran Electronics Industries, IEI, was established. The company was set up in a first attempt to organize the assembly and repair of foreign-delivered weapons. The Iranian Defense Industries Organization was the first to succeed in taking a step into what could be called a military industry by reverse engineering Soviet RPG-7, BM-21, and SAM-7 missiles in 1979. Nevertheless, most of Iran's weapons before the Islamic Revolution were imported from the United States and Europe. Between 1971 and 1975, the Shah went on a buying spree, ordering $8 billion in weapons from the United States alone. This alarmed the United States Congress, which strengthened a 1968 law on arms exports in 1976 and renamed it the Arms Export Control Act. Still, the United States continued to sell large amounts of weapons to Iran until the 1979 Islamic Revolution. After the Islamic Revolution, Iran found itself severely isolated and lacking technological expertise. Because of economic sanctions and a weapons embargo put on Iran by the United States, it was forced to rely on its domestic arms industry for weapons and spare parts, since there were very few countries willing to do business with Iran. The Islamic Revolutionary Guards were put in charge of creating what is today known as the Iranian military industry. Under their command, Iran's military industry was enormously expanded, and with the Ministry of Defense pouring investment into the missile industry, Iran soon accumulated a vast arsenal of missiles. Since 1992, it has also produced its own tanks, armored personnel carriers, radar systems, guided missiles, marines, military vessels and fighter planes. Iran is also producing its own submarines. In recent years, official announcements have highlighted the development of weapons such as the Fajr-3, MIRV, Hoot, Kawsar, Fateh 110, Shahab-3 missile systems and a variety of unmanned aerial vehicles, at least one of which Israel claims has been used to spy on its territory. In 2006, an Iranian UAV acquired and allegedly tracked the American aircraft carrier USS Ronald Reagan for 25 minutes without being detected, before returning safely to its base. On November 2, 2012, Iran's Brigadier General Hossein Saifi reported that the Iranian army had achieved self-sufficiency in producing military equipment, and that the abilities of Iranian scientists have enabled the country to make significant progress in this field. He was quoted saying, "Unlike Western countries which hide their new weapons and munitions from all, the Islamic Republic of Iran's army is not afraid of displaying its latest military achievements, and all countries must become aware of Iran's progress in producing weaponry." Iran has produced several domestically developed unmanned aerial vehicle, UAV, which can be used for reconnaissance and combat operations. Iran has also claimed to have downed, captured and later reverse-engineered U.S. and Israeli drones. On November 2, 2006, Iran fired unarmed missiles to begin 10 days of military simulations. Iranian state television reported dozens of missiles were fired, including Shahab-2 and Shahab-3 missiles. The missiles had ranges from 300 kilometers to up to 2,000 kilometers. Iranian experts have made some changes to Shahab-3 missiles, installing cluster warheads in them with the capacity to carry 1,400 bombs. These launches came after some United States-led military exercises in the Persian Gulf on October 30, 2006, meant to train for blocking the transport of weapons of mass destruction. Iran is also believed to have started the development of an ICBM/IRBM missile project, known as Geiger 110, with a range of 3,000 kilometers. The program is believed to be a parallel of the advancement of a satellite launcher named Iris. Iran also dedicated underground ballistic missile programs. Iran started a major campaign to produce and stockpile chemical weapons after a truce was agreed with Iraq after 1988 Iran-Iraq War. However, Iran ratified the Chemical Weapons Convention in 1997. Iranian troops and civilians suffered tens of thousands of casualties from Iraqi chemical weapons during the 1988 Iran-Iraq War. Even today, more than 24 years after the end of the Iran-Iraq War, about 30,000 Iranians are still suffering and dying from the effects of chemical weapons employed by Iraq during the war. The need to manage the treatment of such a large number of casualties has placed Iran's medical specialists in the forefront of the development of effective treatment regimens for chemical weapons victims, and particularly for those suffering from exposure to mustard gas. Iran ratified the Biological Weapons Convention in 1973. Iran has advanced biological and genetic engineering research programs supporting an industry that produces vaccines for both domestic use and export. In 2013, Iran was reported to supply money, equipment, technological expertise and unmanned aerial vehicles, drones, to the Syrian government and Hezbollah during the Syrian civil war, and to the Iraqi government and its state-sponsored organizations the Popular Mobilization Forces, and Peshmerga during war on ISIL. The Iranian government makes a show of military force on Islamic Republic of Iran Army Day with parades every 18th of April, often demonstrating new defense technologies. The former supreme leader of Iran, Ruhollah Khomeini, named 18th of April as Army Day, calling for military parades to exhibit the nation's military preparedness. The Iranian armed forces honor the country's National Army Day by annually parading in many cities of Iran every 18th day of April. The biggest march is held in front of the mausoleum of Ruhollah Khomeini.